morning. My name's Claire and I'm a second year psychology student at the University of York. Today I want to share with you a verse of encouragement from Jeremiah. It's on the screen now. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. This was part of Jeremiah's letter to the captives of Babylon as a verse of encouragement that God was with them, and in the same way I believe that He is with us now. This verse is full of things I could talk about, but I've chosen just 3. Firstly, it is because of God's love for us that He has made plans for our lives. We were not a mistake, but made for a purpose. This is not some blueprint, like the Audi A3 apparently that is, but a unique being based on the image of God. In Psalm 139 it is written, "You have made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb." Just as you are uniquely formed, you have been given unique gifts to fulfill your unique purpose. In this room there are probably, 50, 60 people? And all of whom God has given unique qualities to fulfill their unique purpose in life. My second point is that what I find most striking about the verse is it is not about us knowing God's plans for our lives. At school, I used to hate one question. What would you like to do when you were older? Now, apart from feeling annoyed, I felt I was grown up at the time. I was making important decisions like whether to have jacket potato or chips at lunch. But I also felt frustration that everyone else appeared to have an answer to this question apart from me. This resulted in long, one-sided conversations between me and God, where I vented my frustration. Why hadn't God given me something to do? So I did my exams and I took my place at university, feeling a bit rejected. But it wasn't until sometime last year that somebody said to me, "Have you tried listening to God?" Now I'd love to tell you that having spent time listening to God, I felt a conviction that I was to finish my degree and then go to evangelise in China or somewhere. But I think this just comes from an inner desire of mine to go travelling. This wasn't the case, but what I did feel God say was, "You are my daughter, I love you, and I have plans for you." And I want to encourage everyone here that God would say exactly the same thing to you. My third point is that we have to trust God has a plan. I find this hard as I don't like to admit I am a bit of a control freak and I like to know exactly what is going on and exactly what is going to happen. From my point of view, I still don't know what God has planned for me, but what has changed is that I'm trusting in God's plan for my life. The Almighty God that we sang about, saving a wretch like me, is my God, and through Him anything is possible. And I'm excited about the prospect of what He could do through my life that I am completely unaware of. I believe that He wants me in York. He wants me at university. And I've stopped focusing on the future and started living out today. In Romans, it talks about everything coming together to work for God's purpose. I like the analogy of a tapestry, as our lives being part of God's plan. We see the reverse side, the picture on the left, all the strands, the mistakes, the going back on ourselves. But God sees the other side, the bigger picture, the beautiful pattern, and we have to trust that God can see this bigger picture and knows what He's doing. Let's look back at the verse. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. I don't know where you are with your walk with God, but I stand here before you wanting to share the good news, that God has a plan for each of our lives. You may not know God, but that doesn't stop Him from loving you and wanting you to find Him. You may be a Christian, but not really know how God fits into your life, or it may be that you know what God has planned for you, but you're worried about making the next step. I want to encourage you to be excited, to actively seek God and the plans that He has for you. That's my part done, so around your tables I'd like you to discuss. Do you believe that God has a plan for each of our lives, and have you experienced this?